With Jordan on board, the Lakers' future valuation will definitely surpass that of the New York Knicks. However, Jerry West couldn't help but feel uneasy. Why did the Bulls specifically ask for the Spurs' first-round pick? What's really going on here? General manager, you wanted to see me? A respectful middle-aged man pushed the door open. It was Mitch Kupchak, the Lakers' current vice president and future general manager. Mitch, go contact Popovich from the Spurs right away. Tell him that as long as they're willing to give up this year's first-round pick, we can discuss any trade asset on our side, except for O'Neal. That afternoon, you had just returned to your office at the United Center. Phil Jackson, the current head coach of the Chicago Bulls, burst in anxiously. You know, in the original world, Phil Jackson ended up with 13 championship rings, surpassing even the legendary Bill Russell. But in this parallel world, with your arrival, the Zen Master's good days might be coming to an end. Boss, why have you put all our key players on the trading block? What on earth is going on? If this is really happening, faced with Phil Jackson's agitated questioning, you cut off the old fox mid-sentence. Mr. Phil, are you trying to say that if I really dare to make a move, Michael would quit without a second thought? Let me make one thing clear. Right now, I call the shots for this Bulls team. I am both the owner and the general manager. No one can threaten my decisions. If you have a problem with that, you can leave at any time. You respect Jordan, but you're not about to indulge Phil Jackson and his old triangle offense. Sure, it has its merits, but winning a championship had more to do with having a superstar on the team. When it comes to real coaching ability, he's no match for guys like Don Nelson or Greg Popovich. Your words immediately put you in control, intimidating Phil Jackson, who thought his achievements made him untouchable. He was so angry that even his white beard seemed to bristle. Boss, it seems you've been wanting to replace me as head coach for a while now. If that's the case, then let's see what you've really got on the court next season. I just hope the Bulls don't fall apart too quickly under your watch. As Phil Jackson, fuming, turns to leave, you kindly call out to his retreating figure. Mr. Phil, the Los Angeles Lakers would be a great place for you. Who knows, maybe you and Michael can rekindle your mentor-student bond there. Next season, I might even take on the role of head coach myself for fun. We'll see each other on the court then. Just one day after this, the Chicago Bulls finalized a blockbuster trade and at the same time signed a 3-year, $2 million contract in free agency. They signed Ben Wallace, who had been left without a team. At this time, Ben Wallace was drowning his sorrows in a New York underground bar with Bruce Bowen, who was also out of a job after returning from Europe with amnesia, both lamenting the unpredictability of life. When he received the contract call from Bulls assistant GM Shaolin, the 7-foot-tall Wallace was so overwhelmed that he burst into tears on the spot. Assistant GM Shao, from now on, I'm your man. I'll go through fire and water for you, without even batting an eye. On the other end of the line, Shaolin was both amused and exasperated, and immediately booked Ben Wallace a flight from New York to Chicago. He was preparing to sign, in person, this major acquisition handpicked by the owner. With this series of bold moves, all of Chicago was in an uproar. The Bulls' string of outrageous trades was being frantically reported by major media outlets across the United States, and for a time, you became the talk of the town in Chicago. The off-season buzz even overshadowed all the NBA superstars. The New York Times headline read, "Chicago's new owner's wild moves. Fires GM, then head coach, sells off all the championship heroes." The Milwaukee Sentinel reported, Scottie Pippen traded for Ray Allen and a first-round pick, Tony Kukoc and Steve Nash plus the Suns' next year's first-rounder. Is the Bulls owner just giving gifts to the Bucks and Suns? The Boston Globe commented, well reviewed. Spending $3 million to sign an undrafted player that nobody wanted, Ben Wallace. Is this new owner just burning money for fun, or is there some earth-shattering secret behind the scenes? Early the next morning, escorted by bodyguards, you drove to the United Center, only to find the plaza outside the arena packed with people. The deafening roar of thousands of angry fans filled the air, with banners reading, "Give us back Pippen! Give us back Rodman! Say no to rebuilding! Say no to these trades! We want the Zen Master! We want a three-peat! Owner from the East! Get out of Chicago!" You completely ignored this ignorant crowd of fans. You simply instructed the security team to step up their precautions, thinking to yourself, I've only touched players other than Jordan, and these fans are already causing trouble. If news of a Jordan trade breaks out, these lunatics might just start a full-blown riot, so let the storm rage even harder. Fine. The more viciously these people curse me now, the more they'll appreciate my greatness in the future. On June 20th, a bombshell exploded across the league. A blockbuster 3-team trade involving the Bulls, Lakers and Spurs was officially announced. The Bulls were sending away the basketball god, Michael Jordan. In return, the Bulls received backup guard Kobe from the Lakers, and this year's first-round draft pick from the Spurs, which, crucially, came with no top 3 protection. In other words, even if the Spurs got lucky and landed the number 1 pick, they'd still have to hand it over to the Bulls. Seeing the plan to trade Jordan for Kobe and a potential number 1 pick come to fruition, you couldn't help but feel a deep sense of satisfaction. Add to that the acquisitions of Ray Allen, Ben Wallace, and a top 10 pick through trades and signings, and the new Bulls starting 5 and key bench players were all set. Over in Los Angeles, all the Lakers had to give up was starting shooting guard Eddie Jones, forward Corey Blount, and Kobe, who was only averaging 8 points per game, in exchange for the all-powerful basketball god. Although they had to take on Jordan's astronomical 1-year, $30,150,000 contract, and also swallow the Spurs' unwanted 5-year, $27 million albatross contract for the permed Sean Elliott. For the deep-pocketed Lakers, anything that can be solved with money is no big deal. Most importantly, the purple and gold welcomed the basketball god himself, which was sure to bring endless attention and hype to the City of Angels. The killer duo of Jordan and Shaq was destined to make huge waves in the league in the coming season. As for the Spurs, although they gave up their slim less than 10% chance of landing Duncan, being able to offload their second highest paid, injury-prone player Elliott and get back Eddie Jones, who averaged 17 points per game, along with all-star forward Corey Blount, made this deal a guaranteed win. But if the Spurs really got lucky and drew the number 1 pick, only to watch the Bulls snatch Duncan right in front of their eyes, coach and GM Popovich would probably end up crying himself unconscious in the bathroom. Oh, wait, at this point in 1997, Mastermind Popovich was only 48, so he wasn't exactly an old man yet. As soon as this blockbuster 3-team trade was finalized, it was like a magnitude 12 earthquake hit the entire league. All 3 teams immediately held press conferences to officially announce the deal to the media. In ESPN, Sports Illustrated, and the latest NBA columns, experts and veteran journalists from all sides weighed in, giving ratings to each team's moves in this trade. The Los Angeles Lakers received an S-tier rating, since acquiring Jordan was basically equivalent to getting the biggest ticket to the championship. As for the San Antonio Spurs, although they lost their 8% chance at the number 1 pick, they managed to clear a bad contract and bring in 2 high-level contributors. With the Admiral, David Robinson, returning from injury in the new season, the Spurs were sure to return to the ranks of title contenders. The team with the lowest trade rating was, without a doubt, it was the Chicago Bulls. Both ESPN and Sports Illustrated only gave them the lowest grade, a C. Mainstream media and experts unanimously believed that the Bulls' new owner, by stubbornly sending away Jordan, had essentially buried the Bulls dynasty with his own hands, which would inevitably spark riots among Chicago fans. The Bulls were destined for a turbulent new season, with a long and difficult road to rebuilding ahead. ESPN's legendary commentator Mike Breen even said on air that if the first-round pick the Bulls got from the Spurs actually turned into the number 1 pick, and they selected Duncan in Chicago, perhaps the fans' anger might subside. As for teaming up with Michael Jordan, Lakers star Shaquille O'Neal expressed his excitement at the press conference. "I've been a die-hard Jordan fan since I was a kid. He's the one who made me fall in love with basketball. Being able to play alongside him is something I never even dared to dream of." But what made Jerry West happiest about this trade was actually sending away that number 8 with the wild hair. You know who I mean. I really can't stand that arrogant kid. He never understood what his role on the team was. Ha ha ha, just kidding. But still, best wishes to Bryant. I just hope he doesn't get drowned in the fans' spit in Chicago. What? You're asking me, now that Michael's here, who's the real leader of this team? Ha man, I'm not falling for that one. You're just trying to set me up, aren't you? I can give him the most prominent spot in the locker room, and he can be the last one introduced before the game. But as for the team's top dog, that's a spot I'll never give up, not even if it kills me. O'Neal's words are just packed with information. It's both hilarious and exasperating. There's the anticipation of teaming up with his buddy Jordan, a love-hate sentiment toward Kobe, and above all, a confidence and arrogance befitting the team's true leader. Indeed. At this point, O'Neal had already taken off, averaging 28.2 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 2.9 blocks per game, stats that firmly placed him at the top among the league's 4 elite centers. If anyone in the league had the right to challenge Jordan, it was this 25-year-old, immensely promising Big Diesel, Over at the Spurs press conference, Popovich put on a fake smile and said, "We warmly welcome Eddie Jones to the team. He's got that all-star presence, was O'Neal's right-hand man last season, and the Lakers' second leading scorer. I believe that next season, playing alongside David Robinson, he'll shine even brighter. As for that first-round pick we gave to Chicago, well, I really hope they land the #1 pick, but that's out of my hands." Popovich says one thing, but he's thinking something else entirely. He was secretly hoping the Bulls would get a lousy pick. Ideally, not even make the top 5. Just yesterday, he was praying to the gods, but now he's a staunch believer in probability theory. In this trade, the one who stirred up the biggest hornet's nest was you, the new owner of the Chicago Bulls. An hour after the trade was announced, over 1,000 passionate fans had gathered outside the United Center. By afternoon, the angry crowd had swelled to more than 20,000. Even with the entire security team mobilized, there was no stopping this near-unruly mob of fans. "Give him back, Mike. Give us back the god of basketball. Chicago can't be without Jordan. Eastern owner, leave America. The new owner is ruining the Bulls Dynasty. How can you face the fans? So what if you have money?" The chants and shouts of refund our season tickets, grew louder, wave after wave. Over 20,000 fans outside the barricades shook their fists in protest. By 6 p.m., the crowd in the square reached 50,000. Some started throwing bottles and stones at the arena, glass shattering non-stop. Amid the chaos, there were even gunshots. Meanwhile, you had already driven back to your Lake Michigan villa that morning, now lounging on a luxurious sofa, watching a Hollywood blockbuster. At that moment, the beautiful housekeeper, who was preparing dinner in the kitchen, knocked on the door and respectfully walked in. "Sir, dinner is ready. Would you like to eat now? Let's wait for Tracy to come back and eat together." McGrady had been staying at your villa these days, spending his free time during the day dominating pickup games at courts all over Chicago. The draft is less than a week away, and when the time comes, you'll have to fly to New York with McGrady. "Sir, my eldest daughter is flying in from Brooklyn to Chicago tomorrow. She's working part-time at a local theater group during the holidays, but she hasn't found a place to stay yet." So the senior housekeeper, Annie Kelly, trailed off a bit awkwardly. You immediately understood what she meant and nodded readily, telling her to let her daughter stay at the villa too. It would be a waste to leave more than a dozen rooms here empty anyway. Hearing this, Annie Kelly was overjoyed and bowed repeatedly in gratitude. "Thank you, sir. Being able to work for you is truly a blessing from God. By the way, what's your eldest daughter's name?" You glanced at Annie Kelly's experienced, mixed-race face, and then thought of her daughter who wanted to be a stage actress. Suddenly, a thought flashed through your mind. "Sir, my eldest daughter's name is Hathaway. She just turned 15 this year. Anne Hathaway." You suppressed the waves in your heart and coughed lightly, maintaining your composure. "Tomorrow I happen to be free. What time will your daughter arrive? I'll go pick her up." Before the pleasantly surprised Annie Kelly could excitedly agree, a young black man burst in from outside the villa in a hurry. It was none other than Tracy McGrady, who had just rushed back from a nearby street basketball court. As soon as McGrady pushed open the living room door, he shouted at you, "Damn, I just got the news. You actually traded Michael. My God, the Chicago fans are going to eat you alive. Do you know that?" Faced with McGrady's dramatic reaction, you remained calm and responded nonchalantly, "Tracy, I did all this for you. If I didn't send Jordan away, how could you become the new king of Chicago?"